this webinar on how to become an author even if you don't know how to start, because that's what holds most people back. I've talked to thousands of people about writing their book, and most people, they want to write a book, they have a story to share, they have a message they want to get out to the world, but they literally just don't know how to get started. So I want to show you in this webinar today how you can become an author. And even if you don't know how to get started or, all the details of writing a book, the only thing I want you committed to is the fact that you know that you were put on this earth to be an author. You're here because you want to write a book. So let me just introduce myself to you real quick. My name is Matt Maddox. I am personally the author of 14 books, founder of this cool movement called Soul Winners Bootcamp, dad of Caleb Maddox, founder of Maddox Publishing, founder of the Jesus Mission, and I don't want to disappoint any of you out there, but I am a diehard Michigan Wolverine fan, the national champs, leaders in the best, and then, of course, leader of America. And I always call them Michigan national champs because we always are. We beat Ohio State this year. Hey, that fired me up. But one day in history, I wrote one of my first books, and it was called Just Juice It, and how you can have it all even if you think it's impossible. And I got to tell you, that feeling of getting your book in the mail and you open that yellow envelope and you look down inside and it's your first book. There's no greater feeling, my friends, than having a vision, an idea, a dream to write a book and become an author, and then to actually see it come to pass and see your book up on Amazon and see it into the hands of other people and people being inspired. I'm also the author of these 2 Bible studies called The Light of Truth and the Jesus Bible Study. That was a lot of fun writing those books. And I have my entire Twitter account put into books called Matt Maddox Tweets. And there I am with Noah Lentz, who helped me get this done. There he is with his family, and there's my books there. And man, the feeling of holding those books. But I got to tell you, of all the books that I've written, I don't know of any more that I'm proud of than, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about this, about writing a story or sharing a message or leaving a legacy. And these are 2 books. One I wrote for my son over there called Wisdom from Dad when he turned 16 years old. And then when he turned 21, I wrote him a book called The Caleb Maddox Story. Speaking of Caleb Maddox, he's my son. You may have heard of him on the internet. He wrote his first book when he was 12 years old, and it was called Keys to Success for Kids. And I'll never forget, when he was young, he used to write down goals. I want to become an author. I want to write a book by the time I'm 20. And I'll never forget sitting down looking at him and say, why do you want to wait until you're 20 to write a book? Why not now? And that's what I want to say to all of you watching today is, why not now? Why not you? Meaning you are the next author. Someone said the best books haven't even been written yet, and it's probably you out there sitting here watching today. Look, Caleb Maddox not only wrote his first book, he was able to write up to 13 books. I think he's at 13 or 14. We're always racing as see who can have the most books done, and I think I'm leading right now with 14. I think he's either at 12 or 13. I'll have to ask him. But anyways, in this webinar, I'm going to share with you 3 big secrets on how you can actually become an author even if you don't know how to start. And the first secret I'm going to be sharing with you is how to set a deadline and decide what to write about. Because a lot of people are just stuck in their heads and they don't have a clear deadline or a clear, they don't know what to write about. And then secret number 2, how to structure your book. In other words, the outline, how to organize the chapters. And then secret number 3 is how to use your book to build a business or a brand. Because a lot of you listening today, maybe that's something you want to do, is you want to use your book to maybe, build an online business or increase your profile or raise your credibility or your personal brand, which all of you should be thinking about. We'll talk more about that, okay? So who is this for today? I just don't want to make sure everyone's very clear about what we're going to be talking about and who this is for. So this is for anyone that has a story that you want to share, okay? This is for anyone that has a passion to change the world and help people. This is for the people that want to build your credibility by writing a book. This is for anyone that wants to make money with your book. This is for anyone out there that maybe you want to get more speaking gigs. A lot of people that we've worked with in times past wanted to use their book to, get more speaking gigs, because the truth is, if you want to become a paid speaker, one of the fastest ways to do that is to have a book. And the average author has a speaking fee of about, anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. Imagine getting paid $5,000 just for speaking to an audience. So there are all kinds of possibilities with the power of a book. And this is also for anyone who wants to leave a legacy, okay? Now, I will tell you right now, our results are not typical. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to walk you through the system that we've been using to get great results for ourselves and also for our authors in Maddox Publishing. But the real power is in the execution, okay? Please understand that the average person who attends any training gets 0 results. However, I'm happy to share with you for free exactly what's working for us, okay? And this will work for anyone out there that's 100% committed to getting your book done. In other words, you're ready. You just need to know how to get it started, okay? So I want you to eliminate all the distractions right now and focus 100% on you and your future. Grab you a cup of tea, a coffee, maybe a glass of ice water, or something just to sit down and relax. Don't be multitasking. Don't check social media. Don't be doing the laundry or the dishes or trying to do other things. This is a moment where I want you to really give yourself time for you and your book, okay? Well, let me ask you a question. Does this sound like you? Do you ever find yourself overwhelmed with all the details of writing a book, and this is probably what's kept you stuck for so long? Do you want to write a book, but you're hesitant because you're not good with grammar? Maybe you got like me, and I got a D in English. My English teacher was shocked to find out that I became an author. So maybe you want to write a book, but like I said, you just don't know where to start, Or you want to write a book, but you're feared that you'll be rejected by your family and friends. This is a big one because this keeps a lot of people held hostage from writing their book. You want to write a book, but you feel hesitant because you don't feel you have the credibility. There's a lot of you out there that are underestimating yourselves and your message and your voice, and you don't understand that it's your very book that gives you credibility, okay? Maybe you want to write a book, but you're worried that it won't sell because you feel like nobody knows who you are. Maybe you don't feel like you have a big following. Well, I'm going to help you with all that today. First, I want to kind of give you our backstory. Back in the day, we had a mission, we had a passion, we had a desire, and that is we wanted to be independent, we wanted freedom, we wanted to impact the world with our story and our message, and we wanted to write books and speak on stages, and we wanted to have an online coaching business. The problem back then was I didn't have a lot of time, and I sure didn't know how to write a book. Like I said, I basically flunked English. We didn't know anybody. I wasn't well known. We were overwhelmed with all the details of we didn't know any editors, and the editors that I knew weren't really, quite frankly, that fun to work with. And we didn't know how to find the right publisher, meaning wasn't sure about the whole publishing process. So like probably a lot of you, I stayed stuck for years with some of the greatest wisdom and messages and stories in history inside of my head and my heart because of these reasons. And even though back then I tried everything, we went to conferences, we searched Google and YouTube and asked other authors and even asked hundreds of publishing companies, hey, how do you write a book? What do we do? Only to be met with just disappointment after disappointment. Nothing seemed to work for us, okay? And if you've been struggling with writing your book, this is probably why as well. But I will tell you right now, we discovered this the hard way, but you get lucky today. You get the easy way. In other words, I'm going to give you the secrets of how you can actually write a book and get it done, okay? And what's possible for us now is we founded a missions movement. We were writing one book a month for kids, traveling the world together, making memories, building businesses, closer bond than ever before, own a publishing company together, and get to meet with amazing people. And one of our favorite things that came out of this was the Maddox Mastermind, where we were able to not only impact people through a book, but also live in person at our own mastermind, dealing with world changers and authors and speakers and just really great people. So the hard way for us was, look, man, we spent thousands of hours searching YouTube trying to learn, and most of it sucked. Spent so much time trying to find editors, and most were just, like I said, not fun to work with. They're just horrible at editing books. I know a lot of people that might can say, oh yeah, well here, you misspelled that word, but just because somebody knows how to spell a word doesn't mean they know how to edit a book. Investing tens of thousands in coaching and mentorship, trying to learn. I felt lost and overwhelmed because I didn't have much time and money. And as I just took a nice sip of my coffee here, it took so long to finally write my book, you know? And we made no money at first because I didn't really know how to market our book at first. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you want the easy way that removes all the stress on how to become an author? How you become an author, even if you don't know how to start. Now look, to become the best at anything in the world is going to require focus, commitment, and massive action. So here's what we did. We knew we wanted to get more speaking gigs, make more money, get results for people, build credibility and brand, personal brand, get more clients, launch a coaching business. And because of books, this new opportunity that we discovered and how we can impact more people with a book, and how a book is basically the new business card. In 1 year, we had over 160 speaking requests, so we were able to speak all over the world on some of the funnest and most powerful stages, getting paid up to $25,000 per speech, reaching millions of people and impacting people for a lower price. Obviously, look, you can write a book and sell it for $15, so you could impact people all over the world just for the price of a book and become obviously recognized celebrities and experts. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 big secrets on how you can become an author. Okay? And also what the rewards of writing a book are. You know, for us, it was increased credibility. There's a picture of my son, Caleb Maddox, with old Rocky from the old movie Rocky Balboa. Yo, Adrian! The rewards of writing a book are building a legacy, making money, you know, sharing your story. You know how freeing it is to share your story and empowering, and how much of an impact you make when you share your story. You help people. For us, it was building an online business and a personal brand and getting more speaking gigs, getting your name out there. People respect you more when you're an author. That was, you know, anytime you introduce a speaker, it's one of the first things they say. Hey, we're bringing up so-and-so. They're the author of this book. And if they can hold up your book before they introduce you to speak, it has a huge impact. And then, of course, one of the biggest rewards of writing a book is, hey, you make your grandma proud. For no other reason, you write a book to make your grandma proud. So secret number 1 that I want to share with y'all today that's going to help you become an author is set a deadline and get clear about what to write about. So there's really 2 things I want to talk to you about. Number 1 is the power of you having an actual deadline for your book. So many of you out there are like, yeah, I'll write a book one day, or I plan on writing a book. You know, they say up to, I think it was 88% of Americans or humans at one time in their life thought about writing a book. In other words, everybody has a story. You have experiences. You have lessons you've learned. You have a message. But a lot of you are never going to finish your book because you simply never set a deadline, excuse me, or get clear about what to write about. So basically, reminds me of Raj. Raj called Maddox Publishing, reached out to us, and applied to do a coaching call about his book. And I remember talking to him myself, and I said, you know, Raj, let me ask you a question. How long have you been wanting to write a book? And he said, for 5 years. And I went through and asked him some basic questions. And I said, here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you write a deadline down right now. Get a pen and paper and write this deadline down. And he did. And I said, I, Raj, will have my book done and on Amazon in 90 days or less. And I even had him find out what's 90 days from today. You write that day down. So in my case, it might be today's January 29th, I'll say, hey, I will have my book done and on Amazon by April 29th at 5 p.m. Now, friends, that's a true deadline, okay? Look at Rebecca Austin and her daughter, Megan. They both wrote books, mother and daughter, about health and what the Bible says about health and nutrition and healthy habits for kids. And literally one of the most powerful things they did when they got connected with Maddox Publishing was setting their deadline and realizing that, hey, we can actually get this done. But you're never going to do it until you have a deadline, okay? So in Maddox Publishing, we do these free coaching calls for people that want to write a book. And you're going to get an opportunity to experience one of those if you want in the future. And one of the things that we ask authors or future authors is, hey, what are you most passionate to write about now? Because remember, I'm talking to you about getting clear about what to write about. So the question you got to ask is, for example, I've got 4 or 5 books going all the time. You know, I'm a true writer, and a lot of you need to embrace your identity as an author, as a writer. You need to start declaring yourself as a writer and embrace your calling that you're on earth to write, and many of you are going to write multiple books. And that's the good news is, look, get one finished. And I will tell you right now, let's say you want to write a book about relationships, but you also want to write a book about real estate, and you also want to write a book about your biography. Well, this keeps a lot of people stuck. I would tell you right now, find out what you're most passionate about right now and write about that. For example, Celia, one of the coolest human beings on planet Earth from Maryland. You got to look her up. There's her name right there, Celia Kibler. She wrote this book called Raising Happily Toddlers. And she's had so much experience as her years as a therapist and a teacher. Just seeing, quite frankly, how often parents scream and yell at their kids. If you see her book is called How to Build Great Parenting Skills and Stop Yelling at Your Kids. And she's got this methodology of showing parents how to truly stop yelling and screaming at your kids. But what's cool is the reason why she was able to get that book done so fast and have so much success with it was because she was truly passionate about the topic, even to the point that now she does Facebook Lives. She coaches other parents. She has a whole business centered around this, and it's because of passion. So I like to find out, hey, what are you passionate about to write? Okay. Number 2 is, why do you want to write your book? Look at Shelly Hendricks out of Texas. He has this powerful book called When Church Administration Sucks. Now, the reason why he was able to write this book was because he had a deep why. And I would tell every one of you, your why is your fuel. You got to know why you want to write this book, okay? Some of you want to write a book just because you want to leave a legacy. Some of you really want to help people. Some of you, for in this case in point, Shelly's a very high-level pastor, church growth specialist, evangelist, probably 30 years worth of experience in the United Pentecostal Church, working with pastors all over the world. He even would preach for me back in Soul Winners Boot Camp days, so I've known him for over 20 years. But he's an administrative master. And as you know, everything rises and falls on administration. And he just saw so much. Of course, this is church we're dealing with, which it should be the best of the best, right? And he saw so much disorganization. And his why behind writing his book was he legit wanted to help churches set up their administration structures. And he wanted to travel around helping pastors with their administration in their churches, okay? So that's why it's good to know, hey, what are you most passionate to write about? Why do you want to write your book? And then what's stopping you most when it comes to writing your book? A lot of you, there are things that are roadblocks standing in your way, okay? And a lot of things that stops you from writing a book is some people, they don't know how to write, okay? They feel like they can't trust or find publishers. Some people, what stops them is they feel they have a lack of credibility or they're afraid of being vulnerable. And then this is a big one here is a lot of you self-sabotage. You have a fear of success. You know what holds a lot of people back is not even the fear of failure. It's the fear of being seen, the fear of being criticized, the fear of being out there and everybody knowing who you are. And, you can call it the fear of fame, the fear of success, the fear of being seen. It's a real thing. And some of these are the things that literally stop people. And what's sad about this is there's some people that'll go to their grave. They'll die. Live your whole life earth experience having never left a book for your family or future generations of your story, your knowledge, your wisdom. Okay? The other question we ask people is, look, when do you want to get your book done by? And I found way too many people are way too vague with this. For example, I got on a call with Paula Enlow, and she had an idea to write this book called Lessons from My Mirror. And in talking to her on a coaching call and helping her get clear, and now she sells her book at ladies' conferences and travels around inspiring other ladies about the lessons that she's learned from her mirror. Basically notes and wisdoms and pieces of wisdom. Another thing you want to ask yourself is, who's your ideal reader? Another word, who do you want to read your book? Are you writing a book to parents? Are you writing a book about relationships? So is it written to singles? Is it written to couples? Are you writing a book about, weight loss? Who is your ideal reader? This is important to know this. The other thing is, what's your goal with your book? What are you trying to accomplish here? I'll never forget when I got on the phone with Rebecca here talking to her about her book, Walking on Waters. And for her, her goal was so big because she's a Jesus follower. And she believes in the supernatural. She believes in faith. She believes in healing and miracles. And so the goal for her book is she wanted to get this book into the hands of all the churches in America and inspire people's faith. So the more you know your goal, the more powerful you'll be able to step up and be the author that you're meant to be. And then obviously you got to ask yourself, is there anything else that's holding you back from writing a book? Is it fear? Is it a lack of confidence in yourself? Is it the fact that you just don't know how to get started? Well, whatever it is, let me just encourage you with this, okay? Give you a little writing tip of the day here is don't worry about the title of your book. Many times I've written a book and didn't come up with a title until after the book was finished. So in other words, the key is that you write your book and you do it one chapter at a time, and I'm going to show you the power of writing your book. You ready for this, my friends? One chapter at a time. Case in point, having a deadline, as I was talking to you about, not only getting clear, but having a deadline. Your written deadline would look like this. And this is what helped Rhonda get so clear. She came to us in Maddox Publishing and she wanted to write a book. And, we helped her set her deadline, and the fire came upon her to write this book and finish it once she knew. They're like, wait a minute, this is doable. Because she wrote it down. She said, hey, I'll have my book done and up on Amazon by April 29th, 2025. Like I said, keep your deadline under 90 days. There's no reason it should take longer than 90 days for you to finish your book. Otherwise, you're just staying too stuck in your head. You're overthinking it. And the key about writing is you knowing how to flow and write. And one of the number one pieces of advice that I would tell people when it comes to writing is don't edit while you write. We have editors that take care of the editing because you're too critical of your own voice. The key is for you to just write and share and express and just throw it out there. Okay, and that's exactly what Rhonda did writing her book, Rising Up from Broken to Beautiful. Well, I want to address 3 fears that a lot of you are going to face or probably already face right now when it comes to writing a book. And that's the fear of nobody buying your book. Well, when you follow Maddox Publishing marketing secrets, you will sell copies of your book. One of the reasons people don't buy your book is because they don't know about it. A lot of authors out there, they're like what you call starving artists. They don't know how to sell their book. They don't know how to market it. And you can always use Facebook ads to get your book in front of so many people, but a lot of people are stuck there because they don't know how to do Facebook ads. Thing I will tell you about the fear of nobody buying your book is to understand that that is a limiting belief, and that can be solved. In other words, that's a myth. People are going to buy your book, people that know you or people that don't even know you, especially when you follow the Maddox marketing secrets we give you in Maddox Publishing. But you can always take away the resistance and give your book away for free and upsell something higher if you want. That's an option that some people do with their books, okay? But that's a real fear. But I'm going to show you a real cool book story about Mia. She was inspired to write her first book when she was 9. They even had a movie made about her. Her book is in schools in Iowa. She's been on ABC, speaking requests all over America, thriving in confidence. You get what I'm saying? So in other words, none of that would have happened if she didn't finish her book and get it out there. So the key is just to get it out there. You never know what will happen. You never know who will pick your book up. Look at this. Tegan Helen, she wrote this book called Be Fearless for Kids, How to Make Money for Kids, The Power to Unlock Your Dreams. And she ended up finding Caleb Maddox. She lives in London. Caleb Maddox lived in Florida. And this is the power of how a book can go anywhere. He had her come up and share her story and speak on stage with him at an event in London. It was so powerful. Look at Emily Shea. She wrote this book when she was 10 years old called The 5 Steps to a Perfect Sleepover. And she made $30,000 with her book and ended up speaking on stage with Russell Brunson and Tony Robbins. So thank God that she didn't let the fear of nobody buying her book hold her back. Same with Julian Alfaro, the elementary entrepreneur. There he is with his dad and mom and his brothers and sisters. They all grew up reading Caleb Maddox's book, and he got inspired. He's like, you know what? I can write a book. And he wanted to write a book to kids. So he calls himself the elementary entrepreneur, and there he is doing book signings. And, it's cool because how many kids can say that they're an author or that they can make money with their book? And there he is speaking on stages. Even people like Grant Cardone's had him up to speak on his stage, and he's been on Ryan Seacrest radio, and the list could go on of the things he's been able to do. My buddy Julian Alfaro, the elementary entrepreneur. And then the second fear that a lot of people have is they fear that they don't have enough credibility, okay? And this is understandable, but it's a myth. Because the very moment that you become an author, you're the expert. And the people will respect you more. And we'll train you how to get past those limiting beliefs so that you can start speaking and writing with certainty and authority, okay? You can gain the credibility after you write the book because you give them results, and that's all that matters, All you got to do is basically make people laugh, cry, or think, all right? Look at my buddy over here, Richard Trevino. He was just your everyday insurance salesman. But because he decided to write a simple book called Taming Turnover, Creating Company Culture Where Insurance Agents Prosper, he started getting speaking gigs and consulting gigs to come into other insurance companies and speak. Case in point, Isaiah Swift from good old Washington, D.C. He wrote this book called Unlock Your Greatness, and he came to us in Maddox Publishing, and he wanted to get more speaking gigs. Okay, but nobody knew who he was. And thank God he didn't let the fear that he didn't have enough credibility hold him back, because he ended up getting a speaking gig with Bank of America and got big corporate speaking deals. Look, here's his testimony. He said, one of the greatest decisions I ever made was signing into Maddox Publishing. Caleb and Matt Maddox both bring value to the table and give you direct access to them. I feel better prepared to write more books in the future. Recently, I booked 3 speaking gigs, all which have over 1,000 people in attendance. And Matt gave some awesome coaching advice on how to sell at those events. So many opportunities have presented themselves since joining Maddox Publishing, and I look forward to going higher. Isn't that cool? So how would you guys like to have the same experiences? These are your everyday average people from all walks of life. And the third fear that keeps a lot of people back from writing a book is the fear of being vulnerable. A lot of you have very personal stories. Case in point, Tosha McLaren, she came into Maddox Publishing with such a very emotional story to share about anxiety. and a lot of very personal stories. She wasn't sure if she wanted family and friends to know about it, and that's understandable. And thing I will tell all of you out there is, look, it's a myth because people respect you when you're vulnerable. It bonds you with your readers when you're more vulnerable. So I'll tell you, be more vulnerable. You can always change names when sharing personal stories of the people you don't want to embarrass. So, for example, I can say, I preach for this pastor. We'll call him Pastor Smith. You'll heal yourself. Vulnerability is healing. It's healing for you. It's healing for others when you're willing to share even the dark and tough parts of your story. But the cool thing about Maddox Publishing is the support that you get when you're not alone. So Tosha faced her fears and she wrote her book, and she said, felt like the support I received through this process was unlike anything I would have received anywhere else. I used Voxers to ask questions and I received answers promptly. I was shocked with the over-delivery of what we got as authors, including the VIP day, the information in the courses, as well as the support. The courses simplified the entire book writing process for me, gave me clarity, which was huge, because she wasn't sure what she was going to write about. The little extras here and there, which sets this publishing company apart. You feel like an actual person, not just a client. You feel cared about, like your success is important, and I really value that. And same with Mabry Bliss. She has one of the most powerful but personal stories of just hardships, abuse, rape, and it was very personal for her to write this book called Back to Bliss, on how she overcame her pain, her tragedies. And the second secret I want to talk to you guys about is how to structure your book and organize the chapters. Okay, look, here's the deal. Okay, I want you to think about a 10-chapter book, because a lot of you are way overthinking it, and everybody's like, how long should a book be? How many chapters? And the truth is, there's no rule. And a book can be as short or as long as you want. I like to tell people less is more, and think about a 10-chapter book. So, and basically what I do is I just work on one chapter at a time, okay? And what I like to do is I like to kind of write out a chapter title, but it doesn't have to be the final title. It can just be what that chapter is going to be about. So if I'm writing a book on the top 10 secrets of sales, one of my chapters would be about follow-up or prospecting. Well, basically all I got to do is focus on one chapter at a time, and that's how you can think about Shelly. She goes, hey, shout out to Matt and Caleb Maddox and Maddox Publishing. They give so much value. The courses are straightforward, easy for this horse girl to understand. Amazing personalness, which was huge for me. They took me from where I'm at and worked with me from there, and I never once felt alone, belittled, or inferior in the process of writing. They are and were so encouraging for me, the writer. They truly believed in me and what I was writing. I'm forever connected to them. They gave me support, clarity, and they authentically cared. This was from the first time I received their call to meeting them in person in October. And look at her. She wrote a book called Shining Through, a journey from the shadow of darkness to a soul restored. Because she lost her son, and she wrote about how she's shining through from the shadows of darkness. And what helped her was realizing that, hey, it doesn't have to be a long, thick book. And just kind of knowing that there was a basic structure and how to structure her outline and how to organize the chapters. And one of the things that we do in Maddox Publishing is we give our authors questions to answer before you write your book. And there's 21 questions. And here's 10 of them I want to share with you. One of them we've already kind of talked about, a few of them actually, is what's your goal with your book? Who's your ideal reader? What questions do they have? Okay. What are their problems or obstacles they face? What's your best advice for each of them? What are their fears? What are their desires? And how can you relate to their pain? And what stories do you want to share? And then the other question you want to ask yourself is, are you going to write or record your story? Because one of the things that we show you in Maddox Publishing is how to either write your book or speak your book into an audio recording and have it transcribed. Again, like I say, work on one chapter at a time until it's finished, okay? You don't have to write your chapters in order. Sometimes I might get inspired to work on what would be chapter 5 and chapter 7 and chapter 2 and then I don't know. In other words, I just tell you to finish a chapter at a time and just work on one chapter until it's finished, because you'll feel the completion of it. You'll feel good as you finish chapter by chapter. And a lot of it is the power of you just starting, literally opening up Microsoft Word and starting chapter 1. Or, starting one of the chapters. Case in point, Shelly Hart. She had this she called us in Maddox Publishing. She's from North Carolina. She's a real estate agent. She wanted to do more. She knew she was made for more. And as her daughters got older in life, she got to thinking about sharing her story, her legacy, and having something she can pass along. Well, she went through a tragedy. Her husband got very sick to the point of death, and this brought about all kinds of financial loss and just going through sickness and struggle while you're watching your loved one basically die, but also trying to hold it together as a mother. And what helped her was, her realizing how easy it is to structure her book and work on one chapter at a time, because a lot of you have it all in your head. You have all these ideas, and if you don't learn the value of just working on one chapter at a time, and that's what she did. She was able to finish her book called Unbreakable Faith. And literally by following this process in Maddox Publishing, getting clear about what you want to write about, and she did, set a deadline, and I personally helped her come up with the title of that book there. And get clear about who you want to read your book, answer the 21 questions you must ask, make a list of their pain, their desires, and the stories you want to share, and make a list of your best advice for them. And one of the biggest secrets to getting your book done is having a writing schedule. Blocks of time where you write. In other words, setting a timer, say Tuesday night from 6 to 8, I'm writing. Thursday night from 7 to 9, I'm writing. Saturday morning from 9 to noon, I'm writing. And that gives you something to look forward to. It's kind of sacred, it's ritualistic, it's spiritual. It's my writing time. And when you have a writing schedule and you have blocks of time and you set alarms and you just write and you express and you don't edit your book while you're writing. One of the number one things I'll tell you is do not edit your book while you're writing. Like Wayne Mack had this very powerful book called The Directed Path. What helped him is he's like, he was a preacher, so he's got a lot to say. What helped him is just getting it all out. Writing it all out and not being overwhelmed with the details or the editing of it. And what really unlocked his mind was knowing he didn't have to worry about editing the book. He's got an editor. And when you realize and the light goes off for you that you have an editor, okay? You have an editor, so you're not alone. Somebody else is going to be looking your book with love, with excitement, with a desire to want to make it perfect for you, okay? And the Maddox Publishing system ensures that you get your book done with no stress. Writing a book should be fun. It should be exciting. It shouldn't be stressful. Shouldn't be having to lock into a cabin for 2 years, grow a beard to your feet, and never talk to anybody, okay? So secret number 3 is how to use your book to build a brand or a business. Wendy Lloyd, she was a grief counselor, and she's a very powerful lady, a very influential lady, and she came to us in Maddox Publishing wanting to write a book because she wanted to do more. She wanted to share the power of the right mindset, but how to have a mindset makeover. So hers was more of a self-help book, more of a book that she used to start her business, where she started her own coaching business, leading retreats, masterminds, speaking on stages, and even helping other people write their first book. And like I talked to Alicia Villian from Alexander, Louisiana, and she had all this passion for networking. And she knew the power of networking, but she always came up short because she would keep passing out business cards. And, you know, I remember her talking to me on the phone, and I said, look, it's time for you to become the expert in networking, and share your secrets and share everything you know, and don't hold back, and realize what this can open for you. And people will start looking at you as, and as a result, this helped her get more clients. This helped her get speaking gigs. And so remember, your book is the new business card. You got to look at your book like a business card. I mean, look at Jasmine Youngblood. You know, she wrote a book called Be Boldly You, and she's at an event where John Maxwell is, and she was able to give him her book that fast. Better to give somebody a copy of your book than, hey, here's my business card, okay? Jerson, a young man who wanted to help teenagers and be a speaker and make his way as a speaker. Obviously, the fastest way to do that is with a book. And there he is, lighting up stages across America, firing up teenagers. And that's just the power of a book. You know, my friend Dr. Araya from California, teaching about conscious parenting, okay? Some of the best stuff I've ever seen. I've been blessed to talk to her and know her personally and her story. And she's got some of the best content and wisdom in this book, The Art of Living in Joy. And she ended up turning this into a whole movement. The Art of Living in Joy Club. She has guests on. She does all kinds of workshops now. And look at Tyler Stratton. He wrote the book called The Big Three. He came to us about 3 years ago. He wanted to write a book. He wanted to make a difference. He wanted to teach people about the big three secrets in relationships. And he believed there's 3 secrets in all healthy relationships. And there he is with his fiance there, and exciting. And now he has one of the biggest podcasts in the world. Some of his videos on TikTok, and millions of views on his videos on TikTok. And a lot of that started with some of the secrets that he learned in Maddox Publishing, working with myself and Caleb Maddox, talking about the power of a book and how it can impact your brand. Think about it. Remember, I told you my son wrote his first book when he was 12 years old, and he got in these magazines, top 20 most motivational influencers in the world. Even the Entrepreneur magazine wrote an article about him. Success Magazine, Inc. magazine said this 14-year-old's on track to be a millionaire in 2 years. Caleb Maddox plans on being a millionaire by his 16th birthday, and he was. And there he is with Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, people like Rocky and Jake Paul, and he got to speak on stage with Gary Vee in Australia, and even went on the Power Players with Cardone, and the one and only Kevin Harrington, original shark of Shark Tank, having him out there down in Florida doing some business deals together. And, you know, he got to speak on stage with Tony Robbins when he was just 14 years old. And even Russell Brunson flew him out to Boise, Idaho, to coach his kids. And that was all as a result of him writing his book and knowing how to build a business and a brand centered around his book. So today what we've been talking about is how to become an author even if you don't know how to start. And I want to ask y'all a question today, okay? I want to ask you a question, if it's okay for me to make you an offer. But first, wouldn't you agree that it's been time spent well far? In other words, so far, even though I can't cover everything you need in our webinar, even if we had all day, at least I've given you enough to give you the confidence that, hey, writing a book is possible, and showed you some of the secrets of how you can write a book. And so I'm going to ask you this. How cool would it be for you to get your book done with Maddox Publishing? Some of those people that you saw today had a dream like you do. They wanted to write a book. They stayed stuck for years, either because they didn't have a deadline, they didn't know how to do it, they didn't know how to find the right publisher that believed in them or that they could trust. And so I want to talk to you about, look, man, don't waste your time trying to figure it out. Maddox Publishing has a system and process that works for anyone writing a book, okay? So is it okay if I share with you how you can get your book done with Maddox Publishing? Well, first, before I do that, I want to share with you everything you're going to get when you decide to become an author with Maddox Publishing. The first thing we're going to give you is our How to Write a Book course. Now, the value of this course is $997. Now, obviously, we're not going to have you invest $997 for that course. But if we sold that course individually, that's what it would be worth, because, you know, that course alone can help you get your book done. We show you the 21 questions that you must ask before writing your book, how to never get writer's block, how to organize your chapters, writing secrets of Matt and Caleb Maddox, and then we give you the Maddox writing checklist. So basically we have a checklist that if you follow that checklist, each step, you'll get your book done fast. When I mean fast, I'm saying most of our authors averages between 40 to 90 days of getting their book done. Look what Ben Chappelle wrote. He said, I hope this isn't too late. I just finished watching all the videos and I'm super pumped about writing this book and sharing my message with the world. Caleb and Matt have taken the daunting idea of writing a book and simplified it to an easy to follow process that makes this whole experience fun and stress free. The amount of information in this course has been worth so the investment and has given me a clear vision for my book. So that's the first thing we're going to give you, is you're going to get the How to Write a Book course, okay? Second thing you're going to get Maddox Publishing is how to market your book course. Now, this is a little bit higher of a value than the How to Write a Book course, because a lot of publishing companies, anybody can get a book done, okay? But our magic, our sauce, our specialty, our juice, our mastery, if you would, is in our marketing and us knowing how to get on the biggest stages or get our books in any room, or how to get our book in front of the right people, or how to get on TV or podcasts, or get influencers or celebrities to share your book, or how to use social media to market your book without annoying people. Our buddy Casey Adams there with Ty Lopez, you know, he came through Maddox Publishing and learned our secrets of writing and marketing his book, and ended up building one of the top 5. He was in the top 5 business podcasts or motivational podcasts on Apple. So what you're going to get when you get in Maddox Publishing is how to write a book course and how to market your book course. Okay, look what, let me first of all just show you. You might be wondering, well, who does Maddox Publishing work for? It works for entrepreneurs, speakers, coaches, network marketers, real estate agents, attorneys, dentists, service providers, retirees. You know, we got people that are just retired. You want to share your life story. You want to share what you've learned in life, what you've experienced. We've had people write a book about their grandfathers, or write a book about, their marriage, or how they found the one, or anyone that wants to make money. Okay, so we always think, okay, what else do you need? So if you know how to write a book and you know how to market a book, well, you're going to have your book edited, okay? And as cool as it is to have your Aunt Susie do it, that's not always the best solution, okay? Trying to get a friend, I got a friend who said they would edit my book for me. Well, you can go that route if you want, but in Maddox Publishing, we have editors that are professional editors that know how to edit books without drowning out your voice. We have the best in the world. You get the very editors that we use to edit our books. Our editor will make sure that your voice and your personality is not taken out of the book. Our editor will make sure your book flows like a book and it's also grammatically correct. So what you're going to get in Maddox Publishing is you're going to get access to our How to Write a Book course, and that value's at $997. You're going to get our access to how to market your book course, which is a value of $1,997. And then, of course, we're going to edit your book, and that's a value of $997, okay? Next thing we're going to do for you is we're going to design your book cover, and the value of that's $497. We're going to give you a book cover. We've selected the best designer in the world to create your book covers. Your book cover will pop, it'll stand out among other books, and they'll work with you to give you the cover design that you want and save you so much time and avoid working with low quality designers and get the best with Maddox Publishing. You want a cover that you're proud of and one that stands out. So we're going to give you access to the How to Write a Book course, how to market your book course. We're going to edit your book for you, and we're going to design your book cover. Next thing we're going to do for you is we're going to format your book. This way, and the value of this is $497. We'll design the interior of your book so it looks professional, something you're proud of. We'll set up your ISBN number so your book will be a legit book. Your page numbers, your table of contents, your copyright will all be set up for you. This will save you the embarrassment of people thinking that your book looks sloppy. Hey, we're here to make you look good. So you're going to get our How to Market Your Book course, How to Write Your Book. We're going to edit your book, design your book, and format your book, and then design the interior of it. Next thing we're going to give you, because we don't want you to ever feel alone and understand the power of community and being around other world-changing authors, is we have a private Facebook community that we're going to give you access to. Not only our How to Write a Book course, how to market your book, we're going to edit your book, design your book cover, format your book, and the interior of it. We're going to give you access to the Maddox Publishing private Facebook group, and it is private. The only people we allow in there are authors, and of course I'm in there as well. And one of the things you'll get rid of by being in Maddox Publishing is you won't have to worry about writer's block. You won't have fear of failure. You won't have a lack of clarity. You won't feel discouraged. You won't be stuck procrastinating. You won't feel stressed about writing. And you definitely won't be lacking credibility having the backing of Maddox Publishing. What you're going to get more of is self-confidence. You're going to get accountability. You know, one of the reasons why a lot of you haven't written a book is because you don't have anybody keeping you accountable to finish your chapters. Recognition, accomplishment. You're going to get more respect and credibility because people are like, wow, you're an author. You wrote a book. And people are always mesmerized and wowed by that, okay? You'll get more money. One thing about a book is it's an asset. This is an asset that you'll forever have. That, hey, you know, if you sell 100 copies of your book at $15 each, that's an extra $1,500, and it only is about $280, $300 to get the books printed, and you're looking at about a $1,200 profit just by selling 100 copies of your book. Pretty simple, easy way. I don't know too many people that have an easier way of making an extra $1,000 or so when they need to, okay? But let me ask you a question. If all this did was get you clear about your book, would it be worth it to you? If all this did was give you confidence to start your book now, would it be worth it? Let me ask you a question, okay? So far, here's what you get by being in Maddox Publishing, okay? You're going to get our How to Write a Book course, How to Market Your Book course. We're going to edit your book for you, design your book cover, format your book, and then design the interior of your book. And we're giving you access to the Maddox Publishing Facebook group. But wait, there's more. As you may have heard earlier, my son and I launched this thing called the Maddox Mastermind. And this is where we work with you and mentor you for a whole year. This is the highest level, and if you've ever been around the world of masterminds, you understand that this is you getting in the room with the best people in the world. The most positive, powerful, fun, abundant, energetic, upbeat people, people on a mission, people with big hearts, people that are humble, people that are about family and values, people that have high integrity and character. I mean, look at what Hope Rocho said. She said, I can't wait to give full testimony once we finished our book. We've been blown away. We've been in Maddox Publishing for weeks and have already been blown away by Matt and Caleb. From our first phone call, we were given value. Matt gave us ideas for our book, answered questions, and spent time talking with us before he even knew we would sign up. And the VIP day changed our lives. And now we're on fire to keep writing, building our brand, and have a vision that we're confident about. So grateful for you both and the giving hearts you have and your whole family vision. Love you guys. So we're going to give you access to our author VIP day in Maddox Publishing, or our Maddox Mastermind. Now, friends, the value of that's $24,997 because not only are you going to get to go spend a day live in person with myself and our authors of Maddox Publishing, but you're going to be in the Maddox Mastermind for a year. And what that means is, look, you're going to spend an entire day with us and our authors in practical hands-on training. We're going to be teaching you how to get paid speaking gigs, how to build a coaching business, how to go deeper in marketing your book. But we're also going to be your coach and your mentor for a year. So that way you're not alone and you have guidance. Friends, this alone is worth Maddox Publishing. You'll get connected with other powerful authors in Maddox Publishing. When we first started Maddox Publishing, the very first VIP day we ever had, there's some of our authors right there that came from all over, two of them from other countries and other places in America, and just the bond and the intimate time we got to have of sitting around the table and just working with our authors and their books and their stories and their messages and their brands. So here's what you're going to get by being in Maddox Publishing, okay? You're going to get our How to Write a Book course. You're going to have lifetime access to this, by the way. You'll have lifetime access to our How to Market Your Book course. We're going to edit your book for you. We're going to design your book cover, so you don't gotta worry about how do I get a book cover done? How do I get it edited? We're going to format it, your book, and then design the interior. You're going to have access to our private Facebook group, and then you're going to get our author VIP day live in person with us, and an annual membership of the Maddox Mastermind, which that alone sold for $24,997. And you can see why this is a good deal, and the value of everything you're getting is stacked up at $29,982. Now, obviously, I'm not going to have you invest that, even though it's worth it, everything you're getting, because this is going to produce your book, your first book, your brand. But you can see why it's a great deal, everything you're getting here on how to write a book, how to market your book, the lifetime access that we edit your book for you, we design your book cover, we format your book and then design the interior of it, and you get access to the Maddox Publishing Facebook group, and you get our author VIP day in the Maddox Mastermind. Listen, you can have access to Maddox Publishing and get your book done with us and published with us now for just $4,997. And all you got to do is click the button below and apply. Now, let me just go over this. My first option that I had is to go as cheap as possible and just try to sell as many as possible. You know, when we first started Maddox Publishing, we literally had 200 people apply off of one Facebook Live. But we said we were only taking 10 authors, and we did. When we first started, we only allowed 10 authors to be in the first 6 months because we just wanted to work with a handful of people and show them how to write their book, but also mentor and coach them for a whole year and train them on how to market their book, how to build a brand. And, you know, a lot of people go that route is they try to get as many people as they can. You know, we could have gotten hundreds, thousands, but we liked the second option, and that's a little bit higher of an investment. But we can exchange, we can devote more resources and guarantee your success. Remember, you're going to get our How to Write a Book course, which values at $997. You're going to get our How to Market Your Book course, which values at $1,997. We're going to be editing your book for you. So as soon as you finish your first draft, you send it to us. We have it edited for you. The value of that's $997. We're going to design your book cover. The value of that's $497. We're going to format your book and set up your ISBN number, and so that way it's a legit professional looking book. And we're going to give you access to the Maddox Publishing Facebook group, which is priceless, and our author VIP day and the Maddox Mastermind, and the value of that alone it's $24,979. Now look, you have two options here today, okay? First option is do nothing. Get off this webinar. Don't apply to have your book done with Maddox Publishing. And hopefully I've said enough to at least inspire you and motivate you to get serious about writing a book, which is 100% risk-free. If you get off and you do nothing and you don't take the leap of faith to at least apply to talk to one of our coaches to see if we're a fit for each other, the second option is, hey, make this small investment today. And in comparison to all the value that you get in return, give it a shot. And you can have all this for just $4,997. You can have a book published with Maddox Publishing. You're going to get our How to Write a Book course, our How to Market Your Book course. We edit the book for you. We design your book cover. We format your book and set up your ISBN number. And we give you access to the Maddox Publishing Facebook group and our author VIP day in the Maddox Mastermind. Now, some of you probably have a few questions, so I'm going to answer some of the predominant questions I get, okay? And that is, how much will it cost me to order my books once it's done? Now, here's what's cool about this, is when you finish your book, and after it's edited and formatted and ready to go, you're going to upload it to Amazon. And you're going to have your own Amazon account. And every month, Amazon, you'll get a link to your book that you can put on social media, or text to people, or give out to people to say, hey, this is where my book is, where people can buy it. And every month, Amazon will just deposit money in your account based on how many books you've sold. And there's no rule to how many books you have to order. So in old days of publishing, you had to buy 1,000 copies of your books up front and hope they sold. Today, you don't have to buy any physical copies of your book and keep them in your garage. You can just sell them online through Amazon and collect money every month. Now, if you want to say you wanted to buy 100 copies of your book, well, you would do that through Amazon and through their back-end server, and it's a very simple process. It's like $2.15 or $2.80 a book. So you got to figure if you were ordering 100 copies of your book, it'd be about, you figure with shipping, maybe $300. But if you sold each copy for $15, your profit is $1,200 from that 100 batch of books, okay? How long will it take for your book to be edited? From the time that you submit your first draft, you can expect about a 2 to 4 week turnaround, depending on how long your book is. What's your best advice for people that are writing? Well, my best advice for people that are writing a book is don't do it alone. Stick with the process we give you in Maddox Publishing, okay? And you might sit there and say, well, what if I haven't even started my book yet? That's okay. The majority of authors that come into Maddox Publishing haven't even written one page yet. They've not even started. They just know they're meant to write a book. They want to write a book. They're committed to writing a book. And the question is, are there any other additional expenses with this process? Well, not with Maddox Publishing. That's why we have you make the one-time investment of $4,997. We don't take a percentage of the sales at all. You get 100% rights to your book. You get 100% control of your book. And you get 100% of the profits. We don't take a percentage of sales. And I've had a lot of people tell me we should, but we just don't. I like for our authors to win big and keep your independence and keep your book. And the question I get is, look, will you regret this for the rest of your life if you don't do Maddox Publishing? You will. Because you could leave today and you could say, you know what? Maybe one day, or maybe I'll find something else, or I'll look around, or I'll shop around. You can do that. But there's nowhere you can go and find all the value that you're getting right here, where you can find someone that gives you a very practical course on how to write a book, okay? And then teaches you how to market your book. So while we're editing your book, you're studying the marketing secrets, okay? And then we design your book, we format your book, and we do everything for you. So this is a done-for-you service that also includes something that no other publishing company offers, and that's a VIP day and a mastermind for their authors, okay? So that's why you can have all of this today, even though the value of it is $29,982. You can get started now for just $4,997 today. All you got to do is click the button below to apply, and just going to fill out a few questions. And one of our coaches with Maddox Publishing will call you, and you'll set up a time to talk on the phone, and basically they're just going to ask you about 7 or 8 questions about your book and explain what we offer in Maddox Publishing and what you get, and then answer any questions you have. So you'll have an opportunity to ask questions before you even make the investment. That's why we don't allow you just to pay for it right now. We have everybody apply first. We like to talk to our few authors. We like to hear about your story. We like to get a feel of kind of like what you're writing about. And one of the things that you'll love most about Maddox Publishing is the fact that this is the only publishing company on planet Earth that gives our authors voice, total freedom. You can write about what you want to write about, and we don't put control over your voice or your message or your story. You have total freedom to express and write your book the way you want to write it. So if you want to have your book done by Maddox Publishing, and you want to get your book done with us, and you want to have our How to Write a Book course, or How to Market Your Book, you want to have us edit it for you, design your book cover, format your book, and have access to our private Facebook group where you can interact with other world-changing authors, and have our author VIP day and Maddox Mastermind, well, all you got to do is click the button below right now, and just know that in certain circumstances we might have financing or payment options. That's not always a promise or a guarantee, but it is always up for discussion. But if you want to get your book done today, and you already, by what we've talked about today, you're like, hey, you know what? I want to talk to these guys. I want to ask a few more questions. Just click the button below. You're not making the investment right now. You're not even making the commitment right now. You're just taking the next step to talk to one of our coaches to decide, hey, maybe there's a few more questions you have that you couldn't ask right now, or there's a few questions that we have that might even help you gain more clarity. So make sure you click the button below, my friends. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I appreciate you. I'm excited to meet you. I'm excited to work with you. I can't wait to hear about your story. I can't wait to see you on Amazon as an author. I can't wait to see your book into the hands of readers. And I can't wait for you, my friends, to be a part of the Maddox Publishing family. God bless. Make sure you click the button below and apply right now. Thank you for watching.